Long drives just happen when you do this move. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson. Welcome back to Get Good at Golf. Today we're going to help you hit your driver that little bit longer. That's what we all want to do. All of us want to hit that driver further, so you're hitting less shot into the green. So potentially, what do the tour pros do that allows them to hit longer drives? We all know that they're a little bit maybe fitter than us, we all know that maybe they're a little bit faster than us, but generally there's certain moves that the best players in the world do that we don't do, that we can aspire to hit longer drives. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure we're set up properly. That may seem like something really simple, but it's the most important factor. So with a driver, I want to make sure that first of all I'm stood wide enough. I don't want to stand too wide because that's going to restrict my rotation and stop us getting the club head speed that we want. But if I stand too narrow, I'm going to lose my balance, then we're not going to strike it out the middle. And if we don't strike it out the middle, we may get the club head speed, but we're certainly not going to get the ball speed to hit longer drives. So ideally, I want us to be just over shoulder width apart with our feet. You can see that my legs are pretty tense. You can see if I was to just jump now, I can make a movement up there into orbit, potentially, and the ball position wants to be just inside the left toe. That means that the club's going to be in a nice position here. The butt of the club's pointing at the left belt loop there, and from here I can take the club away nice and shallow to the ground, load up correctly, and then as I start to rotate into the downswing, that club works in nice and shallow there. So ball position is key for making sure that we get the spin rate that we want, the ball speed that we want, and effectively the long drives that we want. How do I shallow that club out if I struggle with it? Because generally one thing you see with tour players is they have a really nice shallow action with driver. You never see a tour player hit massively down on driver. There's always an exception to the rule, but it's never massive. It's never a huge cut across the ball. It's never a big swiping divot with driver. I don't think I've actually ever seen a tour pro take a divot with a driver. Have you, Chris?
I can't say I have.
Especially not when it's teed up. So there's a really interesting move that a lot of tour players do, especially tour players with short backswings. I have a very short backswing, and this is a lesson I learned a couple of years ago, and it really helped me, so hopefully it'll help you. If I load to the top of my backswing, which may not be too far, the top of my backswing may only be here, but that's okay, because as long as I now move the club correctly into my transition and into my downswing, I can still create the perfect impact factors to hit good drives. I can still create plenty of power, still create plenty of rotation, which is key, and it all stems from that. I don't mean the bicep, I mean the elbow. If I can get my elbow moving correctly from the top of the backswing, I never want to see an elbow work this way. Because if you look at what happens to the shaft here, if the elbow works that way, the shaft works more vertically. And if the shaft works vertically, we end up cutting across that driver. And I mean, I'll show you a ball flight. I don't necessarily think I need to, but generally you see a really weak slice like that. You may think, oh, that's not too bad, but that's probably gone 150, 160 yards. It's actually moved more in the air than it has gone forwards. And if you struggle with that, this could be an absolute game changer for you. So all I'm going to make sure I do is with that actually came out of the middle. I timed that really nicely actually, but the worrying thing is I've timed that nicely, it's come out of the middle and it's still gone absolutely nowhere. So maybe this could put your limits further. Maybe it could broaden your horizons with distance. So from the top of the backswing, I want to feel like that right elbow works this way. It works a little bit more shallower. You'll see that shaft plane shallowing out, and from here I can keep rotating my body, and you'll see how this driver is now working really shallow to the ground, really low to the ground. So if I hit you another drive here, you'll see as I do this, Chris has a really good drill for this. Chris says, imagine as though you're skimming a rock on a lake. So from here to skim a rock, you would go this way. So you would release the rock that way and watch it skim 1,000,000 times-ish. You would never skim a rock that way because then it would just go straight under the water. So a really key example of this is from the top of the backswing, feel like the elbow stays a little bit more closer to your body, stays more connected. And that's going to potentially help you hit drives like this one down the centre of that fairway. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that video. I hope it helps you hit longer drives. It does make it a lot easier if you have a nice shallow angle of attack with your driver. Hit the middle of the face, better spin rate, better ball speed, better golf.